Oh, there we go. I'm talking now. I was on mute. Yeah. Hey, folks. So everybody understands now that Terrence Brooks has hit the. You know what I'm saying? There we go. Here we go. Yeah. So Terrence Brooks has hit the portal. And from all accounts, folks, it was looking like Terrence Brooks and Manny Muhammad were going to be the starting cornerbacks here at Texas. And so now it starts to make a lot more sense when the kid from Colorado goes to portal. You see, McLean says that he had 11 teams, kind of talk to him, and one was Texas. And so people were kind of wondering why was Texas one of those teams, right? And it's because guess what? We kind of probably figured out and understood that we were going to lose Terrence Brooks. Terrence Brooks being the starter coming in this season, is a guy that has a lot of potential. He's a 5-star recruit. Everybody knows who his father is. He comes from a great pedigree, great DNA when it comes to football. Just an outstanding prospect. And a guy that was going to start here at Texas, and Texas is going to be a top 4 team in the country. All right. And so we're, honestly counting on that. What happens with Texas now at that cornerback position, folks? Does Barron move over to be a full-time cornerback? Right? Who knows? Barron is one of those guys that probably wants to look at cornerback as well, but I think Texas wants to assure that they try to get the best that they can at that position. Having guys like a McLean come into the portal, now we see that Texas is, one of the teams that have contacted him. It just all makes so much sense now because Terrence Brooks is, no kidding, he is one of the guys that was going to get, actually counted upon to produce really well this year. Texas is in a pickle when it comes to cornerback position, folks. You got, you got Manny Muhammad, you got Gavin Holmes, you got Barron, you got, like Kobe Black as well. You got a lot of young guys, Santana Wilson, just a slew of guys. But man, to lose somebody like a Terrence Brooks who has been in the program now, for 3 years now, it's kind of alarming. It is, especially here in the spring. Now, Terrence Brooks is one of those versatile players that not only can he play cornerback, he can play safety as well. So losing some depth pieces like that is something that you don't want here at Texas. But where does Texas go on from now, folks? Who steps in? Is it Gavin Holmes? Is it Barron? I would think Barron would probably, stay in that slot. But, look, we got Gilbo as well. We got guys like Mack as well. Having the guy, that just came from the portal from Clemson, having him possibly drop down to play nickel as well. Maybe Barron plays cornerback, and you keep Taft at safety. But it kind of throws a wrench in everything. You can't lose great depth like this. And it's something that I know Texas fans don't want to see. But we got to get better in the secondary, in an already thin secondary. The secondary, just to be honest, folks, was probably the weakest link on the team last year. And it's one of those units that has to improve this year. It has to improve for Texas to take that next step. Now, I think Texas has upgraded the talent level. So there's more speed, there's more youth, there's more talent on that side of the ball, especially in the secondary now. But you can't, lose the depth. And I wouldn't say depth. This guy was a starter, basically to the portal and expect that side to get better unless you have a plan to come in and actually replace it. Here's Quentin. There's my boy Quentin. Quentin says Brooks was trash. I'm not going to say all that, man. I think a lot of that too has to do with, look, I don't want to say that too much, but no, I'm going to say it. Maybe the coaching needs to be better in the secondary. I know that's the big thing in the room now that, people, like maybe be afraid to, talk about it. But look, man, maybe the coaching needs to be better in that room. Maybe the DB coaches, whether it is Terry Joseph, whether it is Blake Gideon, it just seems like, maybe that needs to happen. Because, I fail to believe that we have guys that are nationally wanted players that everybody in the country wants, and those guys are wanted by the Alabamas. Terrence Brooks was wanted by Ohio State. He was signed to Ohio State, right? Prior to him, actually flipping his commitment over to Texas. So these are highly wanted guys, 5-star guys. Terrence Brooks has the NFL pedigree in his background. So maybe that's the key. Let me see. So Victor goes, keep it 100. This has to do with Joseph. Possibly. So Quentin goes, he got beat deep, more than anyone. Yeah, I get that too as well. But is that a product of not knowing where to be? or is that a product of him not doing the assignments right? Because let's be honest, last year our defense, as far as the passing metrics, we were 110th, 115th in the country, something like that. Maybe even worse than that. Maybe I'm giving them more credit. They might have been like in the 120th range, right? So I'm going to give them just a little bit of leeway and say they were the 110th ranked, passing defense in the country. Now I understand that the rush defense was so good that teams had to pass against Texas, and so maybe that kind of helped and aided on it too. But look, our passing defense got chewed up last year. Right. So is it just a simple fact that it's Terrance Brooks, or is that an overall assessment of maybe the coaching on the defense? Yeah. Okay. Quentin. Yeah. So Quentin's my dude, man. So Quentin goes, it's not that hard to not let people behind you. Yeah. Understandable, but he has played well in spurts too. But there's so much to unpack in this. There's so much to unpack in this. We're going to see what happens, man. But Terrance Brooks is the portal, folks. Terrance Brooks is the portal. We don't know what's going to happen. If my boy Quentin. What's up, Quentin?
What up, boss?
I ain't seen you in a while, man.
Hey, man, I've been. I don't know if you know, I do another channel with another podcaster, so I'll be over there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I think they said he's like the best. Like he has the lowest completion percentage against them.
Yeah.
But then he also gets beat deep the most. So
yeah.
But I don't.
It's hard to kind of think about that because, is that coaching as well, right? Is it just him being lazy on plays or what? Or is it coaching? Is it him not knowing where to be? Like everybody's not a savant, right? When it comes to just a game, right? So maybe some people need to have stuff fed to them a little bit, like in smaller chunks and not get everything at once. But the dude's a hell of a prospect. He's going to go play D1 ball somewhere at a big time school. And if he goes and shines at a school like Auburn or, or somewhere or like Ole Miss and he shines, we're going to be looking back and saying, what the hell happened here in Texas? And there's a great possibility that can happen.
I have eyes. Because I remember when he came on the scene, it was the first Washington game in 21?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. He looked good.
It was like, who is this dude? He was balling out when whoever got hurt. Old buddy went to the league and
but look, he was a true freshman there.
And he looked real good. He looked better.
That's my point. How do you regress 2 years down the line? Oh, that's coaching.
But there has to be he sees something on the wall. There's a reason he's in the portal.
Yeah. Unless they're bringing somebody in. I mean, because think about it. Who else is on the team that's going to take that position? You got Kobe Black, so here's Paxton. Paxton says, look, it's Kobe Black time. Got it, right? Okay, everybody wants a shiny, like new toy. I don't know if it's Kobe Black time. I don't know if I would trust a freshman with this team right now. This team is built to win right now. You don't want a true freshman coming in and doing it at the cornerback position, right? But you got Gavin Holmes. You got Barron. Does Barron go over to full-time cornerback? Probably not. But if he does, you got Gilbo to back him up. But if that's the case, if you don't want Gilbo to back him up, you got the kid from Clemson coming in. Maybe he can, bump down to nickel. But if you do that, you got to keep Taft at safety 24/7. But don't you want a rotation at safety, right? So you got Taft, McDonald, you got, Williams, you know what I'm saying? So you got players that you can shuffle, but if you move Barron from the slot and put him at full-time cornerback, it forces you to put Andrew Makuba. If you want to play him at the nickel, but it takes him out of the safety room. You know what I'm saying?
I'll say the best case is Makuba back, Gilbo at the nickel, and Sin, because they all ball out. They're all good. Last time we saw Gilbo before he was hurt, he was balling out.
Yeah, well, so Gilbo, he started a couple games prior to Barron coming, right? So
he got injured, but he's good. Yeah. Looks like he's over now.
Yep. Here it is. Okay, so Victor Santiago goes. He's hearing that Holmes is flirting with the portal.
They're the same player. They look like exactly the same. Yeah. When they play, when they get burned, like I can't tell the difference which one of them it is.
Yeah. It's look, man. It's going to be interesting. And then here's Andrew Brock. He said, I didn't see the secondary giving 100% during the spring game.
I don't put any credence into that.
You don't think so?
Into the secondary, no. They were on base stuff. No, I don't put any credence into that. No.
Yeah, but the whole secondary got tore up.
They got torched.
They got torched. And,
The
this
first
is,
and second team.
yeah, so think about this for a minute, right? Let's go back and look at this. You got 5-star Derek Williams back there,
Mm-hmm.
5-star Terrance Brooks back there,
Yep.
5-star Manny Muhammad back there,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're getting torched.
Dude, Manny held it down though.
No, Manny's great. I think
That dude is.
Manny's a beast. Manny's a beast. But this next season is going to show how much better these guys have gotten, since last season.
Mm-hmm.
And if they regress, it's not the players, man.
I agree.
It's not the players. We saw Terrance Brooks ball out his first year, his freshman year.
That's it.
No college coaching. His freshman year, he comes in the bowl game. He's tipping balls, PBUs. Almost got a pick in the bowl game. We're seeing him do great things. And then last year he regressed. This year from the spring game, maybe our offense is that good this year, right? Maybe our offense is that good, but these guys are running wide open.
By default, they're gonna get better looking at them dudes every day, all day. But there has to be. I say Kobe will probably come on like 5th or 6th game. It ain't gonna be nothing early. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, the best quarterback we will play, it won't be till what? What's the 5th game of the season? Is that Oklahoma?
5th game is Georgia. I think 6th is Oklahoma, right?
Do we play Georgia first?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay,
no, hold on. Is it Georgia first or is it? No, it's Georgia first and then Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken.
Either way it goes, that's the first quarterback. Michigan don't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
And then we play a whole bunch of nobodies until we play Georgia, or Oklahoma, sorry.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We got time to figure it out.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. What do you think about the kid from Colorado, man? Kamari McLean.
Man, if he can't act right with Coach Prime is like a dude. Like he's like your homeboy type of coach that's going to keep you accountable. If you can't act right for Coach Prime, we don't want him.
Well, I mean, but think about this. Coach Prime has a ton of players in the portal now. So Dylan Edwards is just, so he just the portal today.
I saw that.
So it's not like it's only McLean. He's losing some studs back there, man. I think Edwards was probably the best running back they had in the team last year.
Why though?
Well, obviously, I don't know, but there's something. there is something out
in
the
there. Water.
there's something out there that is trending with that organization where there's a lot of players in the portal.
And I'm a Coach Prime dude, but it's too many people leaving saying the same thing.
Yes, so that's my thing. Do we crucify the kid because he can't make it with Coach Prime, right? And maybe it's his fault or not his fault, or do we give him a second chance, right? And so these are all hypotheticals, people. We're not saying that Texas is going to get McLean. We're just saying he's in the portal, and he did mention that Texas was one of the 12 teams that contacted him.
He looked good. He's 6'2".
He's 6'2".
He can move. He looks
5-star. He's number one. He's number one. Like guy in the country at his job. So man, look. It's going to be interesting. Very interesting. Paxton says, what about, Takario Davis, the Arizona DB? Look, I understand we got Nansen.
They're trying to wipe their whole team out.
Look, man, I totally get it. And maybe, I haven't done any research on them, but I just don't want to just take players for the sake of taking players because they're familiar with one guy. All right. It's let's get the best players that are coming in the portal to come here. Because I feel like at the defensive tackle position, we're taking guys. Of course, these guys aren't going to be Sweat and Murphy. Sweat and Murphy, probably the best DT tandem that we've had since Sean Rogers and Casey Hampton, right? They're up there. They're that good. But we don't have a war daddy on the line right now, so we're trying to find people. We got our war daddy at cornerback in Manny Muhammad. He's our guy. We got Barron, who's a guy that, is an all Big 12 guy too as well. Would have got drafted this year if he left. We got Makuba. We got Derek Williams. We got War Daddies back there. We don't need to just throw bodies at that position. We need to get the right person.
The D tackle we just got from Arizona, he ain't gonna be good, but he can occupy 2 bodies for the linebackers to do whatever they need to do.
Yeah.
So, and I guess the dude from UCLA went back to UCLA.
He go rock drum says, so we know that Joe's been getting on the hot seat. Do we have any ideas for a replacement? We don't know that yet. Those guys just got extensions last year for a year. So, so we'll see. Sorenzo says they got to turn these cameras off in Colorado and focus on football. Well, I mean, honestly, it's at every. There's nothing Dion's doing that no other school is not doing. They're all recording. Texas has their athletic department with all the cameras. They do also. We're just not used to seeing it at Colorado because it's Colorado, right? Dion's going to give you an instant bump, but it just is what it is, man.
They're getting a whole bunch
Jason,
of leftovers though, bro.
huh?
They're getting all the leftovers. Like our tackle. I never heard of that guy. He just went to Colorado.
Who,
That
Peyton Kirkland?
yeah, I never
No, are you serious? Peyton
like
Kirkland
he
was the
hasn't.
guy.
We haven't been
Well,
talking the last 2 years of this
that's because
rotation.
that's because Peyton Kirkland had a knee injury last year, but he was the guy that never came on campus and signed with Texas at the last minute. Remember that?
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So he's a guy from Florida. You know what I'm saying? He's from Orlando, Florida. So he tore his knee up last year, so he wasn't in any rotation last year. So he finally got healthy, and I don't think he's 100% healthy yet. But he was a guy that was going to push for some time. You know what I'm saying? Well, I wouldn't say push from time this year, but a guy that needs to be developed. Big kid, 6'5", 6'6", 350 pounds or so. But this has to get developed. Which, like honestly, I don't put too much time in Dion, but he's on the portal situation stuff, right? And there's one thing that he has to do. He has to be able to get players in and develop them. You can't run a program strictly off portal, right?
But these good dudes are well. Dylan, I heard Dylan wanted to be a down to down back, and he's just too small for that.
Yeah,
Like a four down back type of dude. So,
but they did get the kid from Ohio State,
I saw that.
Dalen. What's his last name?
I saw that.
Yeah, but Jason goes, y'all need secondary help. Yeah. Cornerback now. Definitely cornerback. We just lost a starter, and we need somebody opposite of Manny Muhammad. Manny's that guy, but we just need somebody that's going to be opposite. And then look, folks, injuries happen every year. Injuries happen. And so if Manny goes down, who's going to take his spot?
But
right?
this you gotta realize this isn't the. I know it's the SEC, but I'm looking at we got Mississippi State, Oklahoma, Georgia, and as far as quarterbacks, that's a wrap. Like that's where it ends. As far as just lighting us up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's going to be different, man.
We're not going to face that spread it out. We're not. That's not the SEC.
Yeah. Honestly though, man, it's going to be different. It's not the SEC as far as spreading out, but it's bringing those guys into an environment. Mississippi State is not going to be TCU environment. It's just not. You know what I'm saying?
Them tickets going for $64.
You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be a Kansas environment. It's not going to be a Kansas State environment. It's going to be it's going to be a whole lot better.
Yeah.
Dude, it's going to be wild. Cowbells everywhere.
And their new coach and stuff. Mm-hmm.
Dude, and I mean the SEC games, no matter what week, probably minus Vanderbilt, it's going to be stupid wild. That's why Mississippi State's able to go beat A&M, like every other year, right? Mm-hmm. It's because it's a different environment. And, I urge people, if you've never been to an SEC game, just go to one. Once, Texas gets into the conference, you guys are going to see it's a difference. I went to the Texas, the Texas Bama game this year, and yes, it's different, folks. It's different.
I'm going to Michigan.
Oh, are you? Oh, that's going to be a great game. That's going to be a great game.
The guy that I do the podcast under, he graduated from the University of Michigan, and we was talking crap. He was like, "You trying to come to the game?" I said, "You got some tickets?"
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. But get back to Terrance Brooks, man. It's going to be interesting to see if they get somebody from the portal to kind of take his spot. You see, Sark has been very, very active in the portal. I just think it just has to be the right person. It's got to be the right person, man.
It's like I think they said that they were going to have conversations after the spring game, so they must have told him something he didn't want to hear.
Yeah, or say, look, I don't know.
Because he got some run. He played the whole game pretty much.
Yeah, he was our starter basically, right?
So why would you leave? Like something's on the wall.
Something. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, it's. You're about to play for a top 5 team in the country, and you're starting on that team. All the eyes are going to be on you in this team. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's going to be interesting. Now, if he goes out to another school and balls out, I'm going to be pissed as hell.
I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be thoroughly pissed.
No, but that's going to tell me all I need to know. Is it on him, or was it on what he's been taught?
What's the old dude that that went to Nebraska? I'm going to be looking out for him too.
Nair.
Yep.
Isaiah Nair?
Yep.
Yeah. Which hey, Matt Rule's going to have that team rocking in about like 2 years. So
Yeah.
I'm not worried about Nebraska. They're going to be fine.
I'm
Rule
not
is the
worried
guy
about
that
Nebraska. I just don't want to see him put up numbers.
I do, man. Nayer's a fan favorite. Hey, Isaiah Nayer. I didn't say that. Quentin said that. Nayer is a fan favorite, man. He tore his knee. I was so sad for him, man. I think Texas would have had a hell of a year that year.
It's
And I
just
think,
a gut punch if he does well elsewhere. It's like,
but you can't knock it
yeah, I agree.
because Texas goes out and gets an AD Mitchell. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And you already got an Xavier Worthy. You got a Jordan Whittington. And we know Sark doesn't like to rotate a lot of guys, which is going to be very interesting this year because he has so much talent at the wide receiver position. How the hell is that going to work out?
The new number 5 looked just like AD.
Oh, my God.
He like, God, dog. When we got him, I said, hey, he'll start in a couple years. Man.
Yeah, man. It's going to be interesting, man. But Terrance Brooks, man. Terrance Brooks hits the portal, folks. Hey, what's your thoughts on this, folks? We got a starter at cornerback who's hitting the portal. So what does it tell you either about this team, or does it tell you about him, or is it a hard conversation that came down between him and Sark on where he stands with the program? I don't know. I'm confused by it.
I think in my mind that I think he was a starter because that's all we had. We didn't have like other options. Because once Manny came in, it was a wrap. He's like, hey, go sit on the bench. I'm here now. You know what I mean? He came in so easy and took somebody's spot.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's all we had. Even, I don't know. I don't want to throw shade on what was old buddy from Ohio State that we had? Ryan Watts.
Ryan Watts. So I was talking to a draft expert on Ryan Watts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had like a podcast with him, and he said that Ryan Watts is very coveted in the NFL.
He's what?
He's very coveted in the NFL.
Because he's a cover 2 corner, and that's what they play in the NFL.
And they say that he is going to be a guy that is going to be, no kidding, like Dan Quinn's going to pick him up. He's a Dan Quinn guy.
He doesn't have to turn and run in the NFL.
Yeah. And so Ryan Watts probably should have been playing safety at Texas.
Mm-hmm.
But even in the games against like Washington, he was there.
Yeah.
Penix just put on a surgical performance that game. It was one of the best performances from a quarterback that I've probably seen since the Joe Burrow season 2019. Yep. Penix just put on a surgical performance. Ryan Watts was there every freaking play. He had his hand up, perfect position. The ball was just, look, outstanding offense beats outstanding defense any day of the week.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that was just an outstanding offensive day for Michael Penix. And Watts was there. He was there on every play. So the only thing about Watts is he never could jam guys at the line like I thought he should have. That was the only thing about Watts. But man, Watts is going to have a good, hopefully a good career here. But look, I see Watts with Dan Quinn. I think Dan Quinn's looking at him in the later rounds, 4th, 5th, 6th rounds, saying, I got me one.
Got me a steal.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, 512. Yeah, Brooks in the portal, man.
Yeah.
Sorenzo goes, after his meeting with Sark, he didn't hear what he wanted. I assume he got told he is going to compete for the starting job.
Oh, that makes sense.
It makes sense, but think about it though. Any school he goes to now after the spring, he's going to have to compete for a starting job. Unless you're going to FIU or FAU or something, where your God's gift on water. But if you want to go to a D1 school, you're going to be, trying to get a starting job, and they probably already got the people in place, and you're not going to walk in. So honestly, I think it's deeper than that. I do. I think it's a little bit deeper than that. But we'll see. But folks, I just wanted to get on here for a little bit. I got to head out. I got a meeting to go to. It is what it is, man. But hey, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, man. Share the video, like, comment, and subscribe. Quinn's on here with me today too. I ain't talked to my boy in about 2-3 months, man.
My bad.
And it's all good, man. But throw them horns up, man. Hook 'em.